Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Asked data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
I mean, I want to be introduced like that every time. Okay, so to start with, I want to take you back to the 8th of January 2020. The picture here may give it away, but don't worry, it's not a pop quiz. I'm not going to call on one of you to give me the right answer. But can you please pop your hand in the air if you have an idea of what major news story was dominating media at the time? Come on, don't be shy. Well, I thought a few more of you, but this was when Harry and Meghan decided to step away from the royal family. So before COVID took over the news agenda, lockdown became a harsh reality for everyone, they released that statement to press. And in the week that followed, as you can see, thousands of articles were published globally as the world's leading media outlets covered the breaking news story. In that week alone, hundreds of articles were published in the UK. Major UK media outlets were thought to be running 10 to 20 stories a day, covering everything from royal implications, predictions, interviews, celebrity reactions, public opinion. Mail Online said to have ran 100 stories relating to Harry and Meghan that week. So, if we take that one publication, that one news story, that's 100 opportunities to insert yourself into an ongoing and evolving news narrative. How do you do it? Hopefully that's what I'm here to shed some light on today. So we're going to be focusing on newsjacking as a digital PR tactic. I'm Katie Storey, I'm a director at Pressbox PR. To give you a bit of background on myself, so before I moved over to PR a few years ago, I was a journalist and editor at some of the UK's leading national news titles for around about 8 years. From the likes of Daily Mail, The Sun, Metro, worked at weekly magazines like OK Magazine, even did a brief stint at MTV. So I think I'm well placed to reveal sort of what editors are looking for in this moment. So sharing some of that newsroom insight that I have, some journalistic secrets with you all, I'm going to take you through the following. What is newsjacking? How does it benefit my brand? How do you do it? And more importantly, the 5 golden rules to follow to ensure that you do it well. So to start with then, what is newsjacking? For those of you that aren't so familiar with the term, newsjacking is a method that takes advantage of current news stories and events that are playing out throughout the year. There's typically 2 types. So you have your planned reactive, which is exactly that. These are the campaigns that can be planned for well in advance. So take, for instance, the budget. We know that that's going to happen every year. It's an annual event. Pretty much get an idea of what the outcomes are going to be, so you can sort of plan that content in advance. However, there's still a reactive element. So on the day, there'll be things being finalised, being confirmed. There might be a bit of new information. But 9 times out of 10, your content can be well prepared and you capitalise on it around that specific date. The second type is reactive, aka breaking news. This is the type that I'm going to be focusing on today. These are the stories that you can't plan for. These are the stories that play out in real time. So now we're all up to speed on what newsjacking is. How exactly does it benefit my brand? So there's multiple benefits that can come with using newsjacking as a digital PR tactic. So firstly, newsjacking provides the opportunity to reinforce your brand authority and provide yourself as a source of trusted information. You do this by offering up both educational and informative content on relevant and trending topics. If we look at newsjacking from an SEO perspective, and generating backlinks is the end goal of your planned reactive campaigns, then landing backlinks in high-ranking and high-quality sites, which media outlets tend to be, can all help to boost your SEO performance. Being positioned as a source of information is recognised and valued by Google. We all know this. So in turn, landing those links is positively going to impact on a brand's page rankings. It can also help to increase your brand presence and visibility, as it taps into the large audience reach of these media titles. So if we take Metro, for example, it's estimated that they get an average monthly unique website visitor total of around 23 million. Now, I'll be honest, maths isn't my strong suit, but when you look at it like that, if your brand is being cited in an article that lives on their site, then you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to have a lot of eyes on your brand front and centre. More importantly, though, newsjacking drives key relationships with mainstream media, and this is so important when it comes to long-term digital PR success. Providing yourself as a source of information in a quick and resourceful way is going to strengthen that association between your brand and your expertise with media. It's also going to familiarise media titles with the types of topics that you can comment on. And this is not only going to help convert that current Newsjack opportunity, but then it's also going to set up future content opportunities going forward and lead to that consistency when it comes to brand placements and it comes to placing backlinks as well. Okay, so you're sold on the benefits of newsjacking, but how exactly do you do it? The key here and the message that I want to relay today is think and do like a journalist. There's nothing quite like being in a newsroom when a breaking story hits. It's fast-paced, it's collaborative. You've got editors and reporters constantly looking for how they can move a story along. So just like brands have their competitors, obviously news outlets, they're all in competition with one another. So they're always going to be striving to find that new and fresh angle on an ongoing story. So I'm going to take you through an example that will hopefully shed some insight into what media desks are looking for in that moment when a breaking news story hits, and how you as a brand can supply that information. So for the next few slides, I want you to forget that you're brightonSEO. We're at News UK HQ, we're on the Sun Showbiz desk, we're sitting there, and this comes in. Breaking news, David and Victoria Beckham split after 25 years of marriage. Now I can tell you as a former entertainment journalist that this would be a very big deal. So first of all, you've got some of the team that are getting to work on the initial split confirmation. You then have the rest of the desk, and more importantly, the editors, looking at every different avenue that they can explore next in order to keep up that momentum. And this is where you as a brand can take advantage. How? By providing breakout stories that you know are going to be in demand. So to give you an example of what some of those breakout stories look like, I've got a few examples here. You're sitting there, you're throwing ideas around, and the editor says, I want a relationship timeline of David and Victoria Beckham over the years. Now, looking at it from a brand point of view, are you a dating app? Do you have coaches available? Can you talk about compatibility? Were David and Victoria doomed from the start? Maybe, that's a whole other debate, but still, looking at a wellbeing brand, can you offer up advice on, best practice to deal with the breakup? Can you comment on how David and Victoria can navigate this new normal? Another piece might be looking at next steps. So in this sense, are you a successful sporting, fashion or beauty brand? We know that brand Beckham is huge. Individually, David and Victoria both have their own businesses, their own endorsements, sponsorships, things like that. As a founder and CEO of a similar brand, can you speak about how this is going to impact on those current partnerships or businesses that they have currently going on? If you're a beauty brand, say, and you've got industry knowledge of trends and appetites, can you then predict that actually there might be a peak in interest in Victoria's makeup line now that there's this heightened interest around her? Or maybe you're a betting brand and you're best placed to provide odds on what David and Victoria are going to do next. Are we going to get an I'm a Celebrity appearance? Are we going to get, an autobiography next year? Similarly, there might be a call for a reflective on their wedding day, as iconic as it was. So is your brand situated in the wedding industry? Can you offer up commentary on trends and themes from their wedding day that has impacted the industry for years after? I don't know how well up to speed you are on David and Victoria's wedding day, but I can say that the his and hers purple outfits that they had probably didn't catch on, and maybe you're a bridal boutique and you can explain exactly why that was. Naturally, around a divorce, there's going to be talk of finances. Do you provide financial advice, legal advice? Can you provide an estimation of costs that are going to come attached to this divorce? Or maybe if you're looking at net worth, how is that going to be impacted now that they've split and they're being looked at as individuals? Similarly, there might be talk of the future of their assets. And when this one comes up, I feel that there's a multitude of avenues that you can go down here, and it really opens it up for different brands. If you're a motoring brand, maybe you can comment on the Beckham's exclusive car portfolio. Are you in property and real estate? Can you say how property prices have been, risen in price just because of the Beckhams living in that same area? Maybe you're predicting where the celebrity hotspots are going to be across the UK. In that instance, can you offer up some insight into where you think David or Victoria might move to next? So if you see where I'm going with this, from that one initial story, 5, 10, 15 come off the back of it, as editors and news desks are striving to keep momentum there on that ongoing story while there's an engaged audience. Where there's an engaged audience, traffic remains high. Where there's high traffic, it increases that chance of converting that traffic back through to your own brand websites through the placement of backlinks. So you've got your breakout stories planned, but what exactly do you do next? So this is where I want to take you through 5 golden rules to execute that Newsjack in a successful and efficient way. Number 1, news is ever evolving, so you need to evolve with it. It is so important not only to keep up with industry news, but mainstream news too. The way that you've got to look at it, you've got everyday consumers, existing customers, new customers, suppliers, everybody is reading the news. Get acquainted with the types of news that they're reading, the publications they go to, the types of stories that they're reading, because when the opportunity arises, you're going to be tapping into the media targets that benefit your customer base. It's also worth pointing out here, do your research, do a deep dive into those publications. Have a look at the language they use, the style they use, the headlines they're looking for, the stories that they want to run, because this is all going to come in super handy when it comes to constructing your pitch. Number 2, relevancy is key, know when to hold back. So, relevancy is a bit of a buzzword at the minute. The example I gave was obviously very entertainment focused, it got quite specific at times. You're not always going to have something of value to offer up, and that's okay. Pick your moment and ensure that the topic is relevant to your brand. Doing so reinforces you as that trusted source of information with media, familiarises them with your expertise, and it strengthens that connection. Knowing when to hold back is also so important, and that is going to be recognised by media. They're going to appreciate that you are sending them content that is appropriate, it's relevant, it's timely, instead of filling up their inbox with a non-story that just does nothing for your brand. It's important to point out here that relevancy can be determined by using your judgment as a brand, and I definitely wouldn't shy away from inserting yourself into wider news topics. So if you can tailor your expertise to a much broader scope of news, then you're going to be able to offer up a different perspective. And what I mean by that is, say you're a coffee brand and there's a reactive opportunity that comes up, there's a shortage in coffee beans. Now, naturally, there's a direct relevance there. You can talk about supply and demand. You can talk about an increase in coffee prices. You are well placed to comment. However, if that reactive opportunity presents itself as a breaking news story, there's going to be a heat wave next week across the UK. On the outset, it might not seem that there is a direct link. However, start thinking about it a bit more widely. What do we associate with the heat wave? Dehydration. Is there a relationship between coffee and dehydration, and how is it impacted? Does it negatively impact? If so, can you then frame it as warning to coffee lovers as temperatures heat up? All of a sudden, you've got something relevant to say, and you can be kept a part of those conversations. Number 3, be the first to the punch. Depending on the story, you can have as little as 15 minutes to get your pitch over to media desks. So timing really is everything. You need to act with urgency to ensure that you're first ahead of your competitors. And this is to make sure that you're going to have more chance of success in the long run. Number 4, assert your authority. You have to think, why do media want to hear from you? It's because you're experts in your fields, right? So whether you're using internal spokespeople, you're leveraging external experts, use names, use titles, use qualifications, use accreditations, show that you know what you are talking about. And finally, be engaging, but be concise. So we always obviously want our content to be original, to be creative, but it is so important to keep it simple and to the point. Keep your copy tight, keep your subject line short. Journalists don't have time to sift through the entirety of your press releases. Take it from me, that inbox has thousands and thousands of emails that are coming in every day with anything and everything, all being sent from like-minded PRs who are trying to shoot their shot. So you need to show them why your story, why your content is worthy of coverage. It goes back to that earlier point I made of getting to know your media targets. In your releases, use their language, use their style, include headlines that you know are going to grab their attention. Make sure that your copy is article ready so they can just lift and take it. They're on deadline, they need quick turnarounds. That is going to be super, super helpful. but most importantly, keep it punchy. If you can do all of those 5 things, then you are sure to grab a journalist's attention. So, now you've got the tools to deliver a successful Newsjack, what exactly does that look like? So I wanted to point out to you a previous reactive campaign that worked incredibly well. At the time, Luke Littler and his World Championship win was being talked about by absolutely everyone. From sports sites to news sites to viral sites, everybody wanted a slice of traffic that Luke was serving up. So in this campaign, the brand here was a financial brand. They were an investment platform. They wanted to target media with a campaign that had a look at how much tax Luke would have to pay on his newfound prize money. Now, tax as a topic is relevant. It's got that financial theme. And they were coming from a position of expertise. However, it's important to point out here, the darts wouldn't typically be on their radar. It's a sporting event. It's not really got that financial association. What they did, though, was take a financial angle, apply it to that trending news story, and all of a sudden, they've opened up that conversation. So what did they do? Following Luke's win, they targeted media with an explanation of his tax bill, a shock figure in the headline, and this is just some of the coverage that was generated as a result. As you can see here, we've got a whole range of media titles. You've got regional titles, you've got national news titles, there's sports sites, you've got general news desks, but the one thing that this range of coverage all had in common is that they all cited the brand, all included a link back to its global homepage, and they all name-checked an internal spokesperson where the commentary was published. Fun fact for you all, HMRC also picked up this story. I think they tweeted something like breaking news, tax exists. So as well as it being picked up widely by mainstream media, it also went viral on social. The impact of this coverage was evident. In that week, the clients saw both a significant increase in referring domains and that average organic traffic. I've got some thoughts here from the brand itself to share with you and how they thought that Newsjack was delivered. They said this reactive campaign punched well above its weight, delivering a huge number of high-value backlinks in a very short space of time and demonstrably driving visits to our website. It also paved the way for future campaign success by proving that inserting Saxo into more mainstream finance conversations can have a positive impact on our online brand visibility and website visitor numbers. The 2 takeaways from this are 1, the notable number of high-value backlinks. 2, the return on investment, demonstrable visits to our website. So, if you want to hit the bullseye like Luke did, if I leave you with one thing today, it'll be this: think and do like a journalist would. Because who knows, the next time that big major news story comes around and we're all, hopefully a few more people, are putting their hands in the air, your brand just might be front and centre of it. Thank you.
Demand sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.